Anyway, sorry about that interruption there. What we've done here obviously is this morning we've got the courgettes, cut them lengthways, obviously barbecue, smeared the crushed olive, the crushed garlic with the rice bran oil and a bit of sea salt in there. What we're going to do with these now is we've put a little bit of salt in them before that. You can see they're starting to open up now. And there's liquid coming out with the actual courgette. But this is the salt that's causing this. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to finish this off with a little bit of rice plant oil, and these will go into the fridge for later on in the barbecue. Okay, we'll just cling wrap these up, and we'll start on the next ones. Now the next two that we've got are really two quite interesting ones actually. I mean, you've probably seen aubergines and you've probably seen courgettes and all that on the barbecue, but the next two are just a little bit different. As I was saying before, you need to really get quite hardy vegetables when you put them on barbecues, but there's another vegetable as well which you wouldn't really associate with barbecues, but it's plum tomatoes. So what we have here is, on one side, we've got some lovely plum tomatoes on the vine, really nice fruit, just been delivered this morning, still really firm, fresh, got the lovely smell. If you've ever wondered where obviously that really tomatoey smell comes from, it's actually from the stems. It's not the tomato themselves. So if you ever make a fresh tomato sauce, keep the stems to one side. Once you've finished your sauce and you've taken it off the heat, if you want that flavour to be impregnated into your soup, into your sauce should I say, if you use the stems, obviously wash them first, but put them into your sauce and you will get a slight hint of that really fresh, viney tomato taste in it. So what we're going to do with these is plum tomatoes are actually a lot drier than, we're not actually going to wash them, we're just going to give them a good wipe with a cloth. They're actually a lot drier flesh-wise compared to, say, the normal tomatoes you can actually get as well. The heirloom tomatoes, which are becoming very popular at the minute, these are nice as well, but they tend to still be quite wet, as this has got a lot firmer flesh and a lot denser flesh, so they're more suitable for barbecuing. So what we're going to do with these, just spare with us 1 minute because I'm just going to get another knife. I've cut them in half. Just use a knife, just take the core out so you've got no core in it. Just put that in the rubbish. Same with that on that side. So you've got a lovely tomato cut in half, and we've taken the core out the top there because you can't really eat that. We'll do a few of these up now, quickly. So we have another one there. We'll set the vein bit to one side, so we can use that maybe later. Get these a good dry, but nice and clean. So what we're going to do with these ones, we're going to, similar to what we did with the rest of the vegetables here, we've got for the barbecue today, but we are going to put parsley on these. Parsley, and you would normally associate basil, well, tomato is actually quite a robust flavour, so it does take a lot of the aromatic herbs on, but what we're going to use today is just a little bit of parsley on these, because I think this just really brings the flavour out. We don't want anything too overpowering, which is what you tend to find with some of the other ones like the oregano. It's an aromatic, so obviously being aromatic, it does add a lot of flavour, and we want to try and keep the flavour of these tomatoes there, but have a hint of something else there as well, which is what we're going to do with the parsley. So these ones, you can see them in the bowl there, we're actually not going to salt them because there is a lot of water in tomatoes, as you're probably aware. What we're going to do is we've just got some fresh parsley, flat leaf parsley here. We are just going to roughly chop some of this up. And there we are, straight into there. And a little bit of oil into them. It just obviously gives a little bit of lubrication when they're on the barbecue, and adds a little bit of flavour as well. So there we are, got parsley, rice bran oil, and obviously the vine tomatoes in there. And just finally, to finish this one off, we're just going to add just some pepper to it. Another little hint with this as well, if you've got any chilies, chilli and tomatoes are quite nice combinations. I don't actually have any fresh ones at the minute, but if you see that now, that's nicely coated. We'll cling wrap this one, and we'll get this on the barbecue into the fridge as well for the barbecue later. Like I was saying before, what we'll do is we'll take them out 20 minutes beforehand just to finish off that marinating process. So that's the next one out the way. Okay, now this one is the final one, which is a bit peculiar. Not something you would normally associate with a barbecue. It is a salad called radicchio. Now, it is mainly grown in Italy, in France. It's not really grown that much commercially in Great Britain. But what you'll find, it's actually a very bitter leaf. It's a part of the same family as chicory. So chicory is quite a bitter leaf as well, but this blends excellent to a barbecue. It does discolour a bit when you barbecue, but actually the flavour that comes through is very good as well. Now what we're going to do with it today is we're going to make a little pesto and add a pesto to it, and it really is a lovely strong flavour, and it's something that blends really nicely with the other vegetables that we're going to do in the barbecue today. And it's just an excellent vegetable to use, and it's just something a little bit different. So what we're going to do actually is I'm just going to remove the outer leaves so we get it a little bit smaller. I think at the present minute it's just not quite there. So we'll take the outer leaves off. Now what we're going to do is we're going to find the core and make sure you cut through the core, because sometimes you think it's central and the core is off centre. You really need the core to hold it together. So what we're going to do is just cut that straight through in the core, and again straight through in the core till we get some quarters. Some nice chunky quarters here are going to be exactly what we're looking for. So you see that, getting it right through the centre, so we've got some lovely cores there. So we'll just put them into the bowl here. We'll do the same with this one as well. Now one of the things we're not going to do with this, we're not going to salt this one because of the pesto. Obviously I've got set up here a little bit of rice bran oil, we've got some Parmesan cheese in there, we've got some pine nuts, and we've got a bit of walnut as well. I tend to find walnut very good in pesto, and a good bunch of basil in there as well. So as before, find the centre with this one, centre again, and the centre again. So you will get a bit of breakage, but that's not, you know, most being the core, it actually holds all the outer leaves together. So like I'm saying, you will get a bit, but that's not much of a problem. When these go in the barbecue later, they'll be fantastic. Right, just get rid of this rubbish here off the chopping board. Right, okay, what I'm going to do now is make a little bit of noise, so we'll just get this all liquidised together and blend it up. Off there. That's it, lovely. What we have here is we've actually, the pesto we made, we're making it fairly chunky. We don't want it too fine, so if you can see in there, we've got all the flavours going on in there. You don't add salt to this. The cheese itself is quite salty, so that's where you get the saltiness from. As I was saying before, we're not going to add it to the actual radicchio as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to spoon some of this over your radicchio. You can smell them walnuts coming through as well, which is really a strong flavour, but it'll blend itself really well with this. So we've got most of that covered now, so we'll give it a good going over with some pepper. And like I said, we're not going to be using the salt this time, but we'll give it a good schluck of rice bran oil. And the next thing that we're going to add to it as well is a little bit of walnut oil as well, which is really just finishes all the flavours off. Right, so, and this as well.